Hello, 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 and welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too because you're watching content like this. The name of this channel is Manifested Magic, the practical way, because there are a lot of practicalities to manifesting the lives that we choose. And I talk about all of that stuff and the magic, of course, on this channel. So if you haven't already, just don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who you think would benefit from these types of messages. Nonetheless, let's get into it. What I'm discussing today is the importance of validating your way of seeing life or your way of seeing the world. Because sometimes we can get in situations to where we run into people, we run into environments that completely challenge is a good word, that completely challenge the way that we see the world, the way that we understand life to be. Now, if we're in that place where we're kind of like second guessing our choices, second guessing who we are, second guessing what we believe, and whether or not we're on the right path and stuff, it's very easy for someone or something else to come in, another entity, and make us feel as though we are not doing what we should be doing. But when you look at your results, because I always tell people the biggest way to see if something is working or not is always going to be in the results, right? I do a lot of research. I help students with research. When I was researching myself, one of the biggest things that was what you would pay attention to is when I'm using this type of research method, what type of results am I getting? Am I getting enough of information to build this narrative that I want to build using the data, right? So you have to do that with yourself. It's like, where are you in your life creating a situation or a scenario to where you are, where you are gathering the information, where you have gathered information, and now you're trying to understand and see whether or not that method is working out for you. It's giving you the results that you want, right? So something very tricky happens in life. I always like to talk about this. Something very tricky. Whenever you are coming out of your first major awakening, I'll say in life, right? You may come across a time where you're like throwing away all these ideas and traditions and mindsets that didn't serve you, and they weren't even your brainchild. Like, they were from other people around you. They weren't even something that you wanted to even care about, right? So you start sifting through all these different beliefs and you decide, okay, I'm gonna hold on to these beliefs because I think it works for me, and I'm gonna throw those beliefs back out because they don't work for me or whatever. So you get to this point and it's taken you a very long way in life, right? But life has a way of having us feel challenged, or to be challenged is confronting us with someone else who chose a different path or who chose a different way, who are also experiencing very good results, right? One of the ways or paths that they might have chosen might be the anti way that you chose, right? But I love the universe and I love God for how well it shows us sometimes that we don't have all the answers. That the way we think things are going to work out for ourselves or for other people is not always the case. And we pick the path that works for us, but really any path that we would have chosen, had we given it the amount of time and energy that we gave the path that we chose, it would have worked out for us too. But the fact that we chose a path and we're attaching the abundance and the outcome to the path is kind of an issue, right? Because the abundance and the outcomes are related to how you feel about what you're doing, how you feel about your outcomes, how you feel what you're putting into it, the level of energy and impact you're creating when you're developing yourself, right? So the idea that we are somehow challenged with other people and environments that show us the opposite path, and then how that path can still be successful, a lot of times it's hard for us to digest, right? Especially, this is a very common thing. And we had a family member who was always doing something that we felt was haphazard. They were doing something that was way too risky. They were always choosing a path that we felt like was going to be the most reckless path, and it's not going to lead to their success. Well, guess what? In all of their choices and all of their path choosing, they found success in what they were doing. So a large part of us likes to say sometimes, well, it only happened because of this. Oh, this person got lucky. Oh, they only got it because people do that to you too. It was only because of this. It was only because that last piece of information didn't. And there's all these reasons and ideas, but really we're just making excuses for somebody being successful on a path that we just didn't choose for ourselves, right? And a lot of times we say that we don't choose those paths for ourselves because we think that they won't lead to the success we're looking for. We think that there'll be too many blockages or too many roadblocks or too many things in that path that's going to turn us away, right? Well, this other person chose that path. And those things that we call negatives or those things that we say that we don't want to experience on that path, that didn't bother them one bit whatsoever. It didn't even phase them. So the pitfalls they experienced were nothing. They could just, mount up and get over it. And so I think one of the coolest things in life is that we get shown these paths, right? We get shown these ways that, you know what, you think you're doing so great. You think you're so amazing, but so and so didn't choose that path. They chose another one. And guess what? They're doing a great and amazing in a different kind of way, right? So whenever we're confronted with these things or these environments or these situations to where we have to really question our path and whether the one that we chose was the only one that could have been successful in the way that we took it, the what we have to always do next is think like, well, you know what? Maybe I don't have all the answers. Maybe I don't have the number one. Maybe I didn't make the number one choice. Maybe the way that I do things is not like the number one way things have to be. Maybe people, not having the best information related to a problem is somehow beneficial. Because sometimes when we have too much information related to this problem we think we're facing, we overthink, we overplan, we over analyze, right? And so this person that we may call ignorant and we may say is living in blissfulness of not knowing the possible outcomes of the path that they're taking, they find success because the negative aspects were never even on the table, right? Life is very funny in that way. Life is very, very funny in that way. So we have to keep these things in mind. We always want to make sure that we are making room for the outcomes or the understandings that we may have not been able to capitalize on, but someone else may have been able to do that, right? We always have to make room for the unknown. And we also have to make room for the fact that even though we took a path and it worked out for us, that we don't know everything, that we don't have all of the answers. And when other people are looking in on your life, you can easily say, it really doesn't matter what they say because they don't know everything. They don't have all the answers. They don't have the inside track because that's not even possible for them to have because they're off in their own life, doing their own thing. They only have the inside track for their own lives. And they don't even have the full inside track of that. None of us do for our own lives, right? So I just like to pay homage to or to think about those times and those moments in our lives where it is freedom. It's freedom to see somebody on another path that we thought was impossible and they somehow found success on it. Because it shows you that there's even more success you can find with where you're at. And there's even more abundance you can tap into because look at this person did. And look at this half-assed way that they approach this concept. And sometimes we want to get all caught up in they didn't do it this way. It didn't work out that way. They're probably going to get this result. They don't understand this. They don't understand that. They're not successful in that way. But I don't think that you can gain a lot coming from those perspectives. I think that in order to reach people, in order even to reach yourself, you have to decide where I have come so far and what I have created in my life has managed me lots of success. And these are the ways I've been successful in this part of my life. I've been successful in that part. I've been successful raising my children. I've been successful with building the level of abundance that I need in order to carry on with this lifestyle that I've chosen. I've been successful in my health and diet. I've been successful. You have to look at all the ways in which you've been successful on the path that you've been on, right? And you have to do this in order to decide, okay, I've come up against some new beliefs. I've come up against a new belief system, a new way of seeing things, a new way of doing things. Do I want to expand my way of doing things to include that skill set, or do I want to push that skill set to the side and understand that, yeah, you can be successful doing that, but I don't want to do it. It's not the way that I want to live, and it's not the life that I choose, right? So you have to be mindful of this because if you're not, a lot of times you can fall in these places of being regretful or being anxious or being jealous because someone else chose a different path and they're finding a little bit more success than you. And to come away from that, you always have to remember, wait, I found success in my own life. It may not be that particular way that I found it, but all of these things have worked out perfectly for me. And hold on to those ideas, because when you start picking your new belief systems and your new beliefs, and you having a new awakening and you having to pick a new path, you won't just throw away everything that you've been creating your whole life. You'll realize, no, there was some value in that, because I found this level of success. It brought me to this point. It may not take me to the next point in all areas, but some things that's working in that area, I want to keep those things, right? So keep that in mind. I don't even know what I'm going to title this video, because it's such a nuanced place to be. When you're up against being challenged for your own way of doing things, your own way of life, or your own way of being, and you come against someone else who chose a way of life and being that you don't see value, that you didn't see value in from your perspective, and you see them with success in it, you have to keep this in mind, that you're going to keep running into this situation over and over again. And it's a good thing. And when you do, you have to be really firm on what actually works for you in your life, so you can know, these are the things that I want to gain more information on. But these things right here, I know you may not, I know other people may not like the way they're playing out, but I like the way that area is working for me. I like the results I'm getting over there. I like the way I feel about myself in that space. I'm going to keep that. But I'm going to go ahead and add some of the other things that I see are working for some other people that I once rejected, but now I see where I can play a positive role in my life. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. Always remember that even if you're in a place where you don't have all the success or all the abundance that you're looking for, you've managed a level of that success and abundance, and it should be respected, and it should be treated as if you had an understanding and it's useful. And then from there, you can continue to build, right? A lot of times people find that if they don't have the exact success they want, all the ways in which that they use in order to get to where they are, they just throw them out the window and be like, I'm just going to remake my whole life over and try something new. While that can be beneficial to a lot of people in a lot of circumstances, sometimes we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater. And you're just like, wait, all these 9 things work for me. This one thing doesn't. I'm going to throw this one thing out and just grab onto that. But the other 9 things, I'm not changing my mind on that. I like the way those things are playing out in my life. And I think that I am receiving exactly the results that I want to receive in those areas. So I'm going to stick with that, right? You know, give yourself that little confidence, that extra boost that always helps and makes a difference. Anyway, I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful day. You're enjoying your, what is this, Labor Day or something? Yeah, this is Labor Day. I was like, it's a holiday, right? I'm sure it is. And I hope y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And keep that in mind, right? Whatever you use to get to the point to where you are now, and okay, maybe it's not working to get you to the next level, but don't automatically just meet other people who are successful in that one way that you're not, because they may not be successful in all the other ways that you are, and just be like, oh God, I've been doing it wrong. Let me just throw this out. That's not the case. You've been doing it right, because you landed at the point where you're meeting someone who has a key, a missing part to what you need to fix in your life, or what you need to adjust in your life, right? So keep that in mind. And even if they're not a direct help, because I understand this too. Sometimes people aren't a direct assistance in your life, but they'll remind you and they'll keep you on track of things that you need to pay attention to. Because sometimes people aren't accessible in the way that they think they are. Like, their knowledge, you can't tap into it as easily as they think you can. But you can look over and say, well, they seem to have that part managed. I don't know how to do all of that part, but I'm going to go ahead and study it a little bit more. They may not be the best place for me to receive the information from, but I'm going to definitely start working on gathering information in that area, right? So sometimes people are there as just reminders. Get it together. They may not even put their hands in what you're working on. They may not even be a good place to do that, because sometimes people aren't really good mentors. They're good people to watch, but they're not really good people to have the conversations with and tap into. So you watch them and you pay close attention. Like I say, mentors can be on YouTube. You watch them and you pay close attention and you gather what you need, but you don't go throwing out every concept and idea and way of life that you had previously working and say, oh, this person, I just was doing it all wrong. Maybe you were, maybe you weren't, but don't throw it all out. Just look at where you are and how successful you've been with what you have, and then use these other people as reminders or as tools on your path, right? Because that's what they are. They'll show you ways and places where you need to improve or expand or evolve your own ideas, mindsets, tools that you're using to get to the next level in life, right? Anyway, I hope y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful day. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. And just make sure that you are manifesting magic every step of the way. Until next time.